Hello. Hope hope your guys' life is swell. I get the joy of, I say joy loosely, of talking about news. Because generally when it's big news, it's never positive. And this is not a very positive news I'm bringing up, and it just shows like something to laugh about this, and to also say that I, as a leader of the United States, and people follow me, we're all generally held to followers of Christ. Like, just a laugh like that, to laugh about assault, and I'll explain. So, yes, so Trump on a rally in Montana, he he was talking about and laughing, and everyone listening to him just laughing about Greg Gainfoot, and I'm most likely butchering that last name, but yes, he's a congressman in Montana. And about a year ago, actually, it was a couple years ago. Wow. He assaulted a journalist, body slammed him when the journalist was just asking him questions. And it's like weird to hear someone laughing about assaults, especially on a journalist. Like, it's one thing when the journalist is, you know, if you're there like having to be in defense of someone. But where where are we now that we could just laugh about assault? Not when I say we, like, I'm not laughing about this. But so yes, so generally, um, Donald Trump has a stance of the media is evil, or the media agenda. And then next is to laugh and shrug off causing damage to a group of people. So he uses like journalists. He doesn't go into detail. Like, he has doesn't sound like he has anything against this journalist who got assaulted. But he's laughing, and everyone behind him's laughing. So when we're dealing as Christians, when we're dealing with wanting vengeance, like, for him, since media is so vilified in his brain and his conscience, it's okay for evil to happen to them, because then they're subhuman. Because when we monsterize or we subhuman people, it gets very easy to shrug off when pain gets inflicted. And Christ has given us the empathy model because it raises our awareness of the person back into humanity. And that goes to journalists, that goes to President Donald Trump, that goes for people. And even, and the power actually happens for Christians is in martyrdom. If you look at the book of Revelation, there is this injustice happening to followers of Christ, and they look towards God like, give us justice. And so Jesus comes riding a horse with a sword coming out of his mouth and a cloak. And guess what? The cloak is dipped in blood. Like, look like he has. You think you're looking for war and vengeance and beating down the evildoers, but he shows that victory happens through suffering, which is mind-boggling. It's part of the upside down kingdom. And yes, it's one thing, you know, in the empathy model, like, love your neighbor as yourself. In the positive sense, like, yes, you want justice. Like, when evil is being inflicted. But this journalist was just asking questions. And then being okay to joke and laugh about and actually support them even after is not characteristics of a Christian. It's not characteristic someone who follows Christ. Because even when Jesus was being taken away, one of his disciples took up a sword and actually cut off an ear of someone taking Christ away. And he says, no, my kingdom will not be defined by blood spilling. And there's still always a lot to think about that. I'm always constantly thinking about war. Can there ever be a just war? And I don't know. And when is it okay to inflict pain in defense of someone? Like, where's the line? Where then is it now? Then it's no longer in Christ's hand, but it's in my hand. As it's in the state hand. But we always got to prostrate ourselves in humility and in the empathy model to Christ and to others. I will put a link on the description that it's from The Guardian. It was actually a Guardian journalist. And then that link, if you want to check it out, has the video of Trump boasting about, hip hip hooray speech, happy about that he body slammed this journalist. And also there's a recording from Greg when he body slammed, like a little bit down the page, you hear the recording of him body slamming. I hope this ends. I hope there at least some apology that comes out. This is a very recent occurrence that's happened. Because joking about this, especially as a leader of a nation, like, then you set a pattern in history for, like, now people follow him. They're also going to start seeing journalists and news media that doesn't reflect their biases, that it's okay for and laugh about it that A, B, and C happened to them. And first of all, that's not okay for us. Second of all, that's not okay for anyone. We always gotta be in the state of loving our enemy, and that's what Christ said: love your enemy. So even if you have stuff against them, it needs to be always in a place of positive thinking about them, and not positive like newish thought, but when Christ says love your neighbor as yourself, since we're so pro-self, we also need to be pro-other. As highly as you think, as we generally think about ourselves and how much we want our own life to go well, we also got to then put that in the other. So yeah, it's a lot to unravel, but I hope you start hearing how my brain, how it works with what the gospel says, the Bible says, and how we should apply that today, and what's the right recourse and the wrong recourse. Well, thank you for hearing, and have a great evening.